My name's Davida Shensky, and the title of this course is Entrepreneur Mindset Masterclass. Think like an entrepreneur. And I would like to welcome you to this course and remind you that one of the purposes of this course is to help you to understand if you're looking to start your own business, what it is that it really takes to become an entrepreneur. Because it's not just starting a business and getting it up and running, it's all about the mindset that you have and how you look at being an entrepreneur, to think in terms of how you as an individual can grow your business, not just from a startup to, but to a long-term business. If you remember Steve Jobs, he started Apple out of his garage with Steve Wozniak. And when they actually get going and started making some money, he really didn't know how to take it from a startup to what it became. Davida Shensky, and the title of this course is Entrepreneur Mindset Masterclass. Think like an entrepreneur. And in this class, we're going to be covering some very important topics. And the first thing that we're going to be covering is the importance of an entrepreneurial mindset. For one thing, as an entrepreneur, you need to have discipline because you need to develop good habits. And when you develop those habits, then it will become routine to you. Also, if you have your own business, you need to be customer focused. And what that means is that you're offering good customer service because that's how you get business to return to you. And then the next thing we're going to be talking about is teaching you how to think like an entrepreneur. And what that means is that you are decisive in your decision making. You're not wishy washy, that you don't know. You have a direction exactly and know it, what you plan to do, and you go in that direction. Because if you don't or are not decisive, then you're not going to be thought of by your coworkers or people that you approach about your business as really knowing what your business is. And that's part of what you need to do is learn how to become what it is that you see other people being, even if that means asking them to mentor you and helping you to build a very successful business. Then we're going to talk about ways that you can grow as an entrepreneur and always revisit your vision. Why is that? Because what was norm back when you first had the idea and started putting the plan together may not work because technology or whatever's going on the outside world and the environment may be causing some changes. Therefore, you have to constantly be looking at your vision and making adaptations exactly where they need to be in order to adapt your business along the way. Then what we want to do is talk about ways that you can grow as an entrepreneur and always think about updating and making changes as needed and be willing to challenge yourself. What that means is when you're willing to challenge yourself, that you are really doing the things that are allowing you to get out of your comfort zone. Because if you don't get out of your comfort zone and you stay exactly where you are, then you're not willing to challenge yourself to get beyond where you're at today and actually do something that feels uncomfortable for you. And that may be getting up in front of groups and speaking and promoting your company and your organization and your products, just something that is totally different. Then we're going to talk about ways that you can help you develop entrepreneurial freedom. Because what is entrepreneurial freedom? Well, that means that you can work from anywhere. It's that Today, it's no longer just a brick and mortar store, that you have to have a website. And that means that if you're keeping your website up to date, then even while you're sleeping or even while you're away on vacation, people can be purchasing your products or your services and scheduling appointments with you. It's always being open minded and thinking differently and thinking outside the box whenever you plan your business. Now, I'm going to give you an example of someone who had an entrepreneurial mindset, and that's Steve Jobs. Even if you look at Bill Gates, what did they do? They actually created the industry they were in. Because before Steve Jobs created the personal computers, what did you have? You had those big IBM computers that took up a whole room. And that meant that unless you could do DOS and all the little basic stuff, you couldn't work on computers like you can today. You couldn't do a business on computers like you do today. If you are open and adaptive and understand just exactly how changes are happening, then you can take a business from a startup to a multi-billion dollar business. When Steve Jobs started Apple, he was good at starting things up, but he didn't know how to take it from being a startup to being a corporation. And that's why he got pushed out of his own company. But what happened was that over time, Apple started losing sales. And why was that? Well, because they were not changing, they were not adapting. And what they did was they brought Steve Jobs back because he was the thinker, the innovator. And what happened? Now you've got the iPhone, the iPad, you've got your Mac computers, you've got your laptops, you've got almost everything under the sun, even Apple TV, which was an idea that Steve Jobs had but didn't get implemented until he passed away. So always be open, always being willing to learn, to think, to change, and become what it is that you need to become in order to become successful as an entrepreneur. And remember, always read, always be open, and always be ready to change.